Community builder. That is more than a title. That is a responsibility. Because in St. Louis, building has never just been about bricks, walls, buildings, or property lines. Real building is about the people. It's about seeing possibility where other people only see problems. It's about looking at a block, a building, a family, a neighborhood, or a forgotten corner of the city and saying, there is still value there. There's still life there. There is still something worth investing in. And that kind of vision matters in St. Louis because this city does not need people who are only trying to extract from it. It needs people who are ready and willing to pour back into it. It needs builders who understand that development should not erase the story of a community, but instead help write the next chapter. It needs leaders who know that when you restore a property, you are not just improving a structure. You may, in fact, be creating stability for a family. You may be bringing confidence back to a neighborhood. You just might be giving a business, a neighbor, or a young person a reason to believe that something better is still possible right where they are. That is what true community builders do. They don't just see what is, they see what could be. They bring visions to places that have been overlooked and long forgotten. They bring strategy and unique perspective to places that have been underestimated. They bring a special care to places that have been counted out. And that is the St. Louis that I believe in, a city still full of promise, and a city where people are now waiting on permission to make a difference. We're talking about a city where the next wave of transformation may come from the very person who know these streets, love these communities, and refuse to give up on them. And here's what St. Louis understands. When the right community builder gets to work, the impact is bigger than a single project. In fact, it becomes a signal. It tells people we are still here and we are still building. That is the St. Louis worth telling stories about. That is the St. Louis that we're here to document. And today's guest is that kind of community builder. Today on STL Hustle Insider, we sit down with Carla Reid, community builder, real estate developer, and all around good St. Louisan. So let's get to it.
Welcome to STL Hustle Insider, the podcast highlighting the people, businesses, and movements building the city from the inside out. Hosted by Cortez Hustle, each episode brings you real conversations, local insight, and the kind of stories that remind us why St. Louis keeps pushing forward. From the neighborhoods to the boardrooms, from the creatives to the community builders, this is where St. Louis stories get the spotlight. So lock in, tap in, and get ready. This is more than a podcast. This is STL Hustle Insider, and it starts now.
Real quick, before we bring on today's guest, it's time to go inside STL Black History. This Inside STL Black History moment is powered by St. Louis Virtual Resource Center, supporting the stories, history, and people building St. Louis. STL VRC is a virtual resource center where St. Louis area entrepreneurs can go and get every resource they need to take their business to the next level. Go to ihustlemg.com/VRC for all the details. Today's conversation with Carla Reid is about more than buildings. It's about community, because real development is not just about what goes up. It's about who gets rooted, who gets remembered, and who gets to belong. So today, we're looking back at a historic community in North St. Louis County. This place is often recognized as Missouri's first all-Black incorporated city and one of the oldest Black municipalities west of the Mississippi. However, it was not just historic because of what it became on paper. It was historic because of what people built there. Families bought land, churches served, schools shaped children, neighbors knew each other. Black residents created a community with identity, pride, and ownership at a time when segregation tried to stop all three. And here's another clue. This community helped to produce nationally known figures, including a legendary community and civil rights activist, a powerhouse actress known as the mother of Black Hollywood, and a longtime congresswoman from California. So here's today's Inside STL Black History Trivia question. What is the name of this historic North St. Louis County community, often recognized as Missouri's first all-Black incorporated city? And don't Google it, don't cheat. Stick around because we'll reveal the answer at the end of today's show. Now, let's get into this conversation with real estate developer Carla Reid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of STL Hustle Insider. I'm, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle. And when I tell you I am so excited about this particular episode, because this is a topic that I've been really interested in almost all of my adult life. And now I get to sit with someone who is actually in the trenches. So, I ask everybody, Carla, who comes and sits down with me on STL Hustle Insider, this one question to kick everything off. So I'm going to ask it to you. And the question is this: who the heck are you?
That's a loaded question.
All right. Well, give it to us. We got time.
First and foremost, I am Carla Reid. At the core of everything I do, I'm a mother.
Okay.
I'm a daughter, community champion, social worker, investor, and developer.
Man, you wear a lot of hats, and from what I can see, you wear them all well. So welcome to STL Hustle Insider. I'm glad to have you on the show today.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're going to dive right in. When it comes to, I like to kind of get the full origin story, not just the business, but take us all the way back to young Carla.
Okay.
What was your upbringing like? Let's kind of go elementary, middle, high school, Carla. Walk us through those phases as you were growing up in St. Louis.
Wow. So I lived in the west end of St. Louis City. Was raised by my mother and father.
Okay.
2 siblings. So very, very good home life, right? My father was a social worker, superintendent for the St. Louis City Juvenile Detention Center for 30 plus years. My mother was a registered nurse with the state of Missouri. We all went to private schools, grade schools, high school, except for me.
Okay.
I'm an Oakville baby. I'm a DSEG child.
Okay.
So I went to DSEG program at Oakville Senior High. So I had a pretty good upbringing.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about that DSEG situation with you, because that's interesting and it's something that I've always wanted to know. The Black experience going into a predominantly white institution. What was it like leaving your community and one situation and going into what I would imagine was a completely different world, especially at the beginning?
So for me, the transition was not so much because I went from private school to county school, right?
Gotcha.
I had a personal fear of public school. And they was all my friends. So I don't know why, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say high school experience was a little different for me.
Okay.
I was a teenage mother. I had my daughter at 15.
Okay.
So I didn't have a lot of opportunity for extracurricular. I went to school, did my classes, came home, went to work, right?
Okay.
So my core group of friends were those 9 busloads of city kids that went from St. Louis City to Oakville. And even today, they my dogs, right? We still all cool.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So as a young mother, how was your mother mothering you at that point? I'd imagine some things changed with maybe how she parented you, because now you're in the trenches. Like, I'm sure a great support system for you as a young mother, but I'm also certain that there were some responsibilities that had to be placed on your shoulders even then to kind of get you prepared for full-time motherhood. So what was that like?
It was rough, you know?
Okay.
Me becoming a mother
In a
at
word,
15,
it was rough.
yeah, it was rough. It was hard, right? Me becoming a mother at 15 was, I don't know, I have a unique story with that.
Okay.
I carried a child and didn't know that I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
I woke up one day and was in labor.
Wait a minute.
Tell me about it.
Wow. I can't imagine. Like, so you didn't have, like, let's think about this.
Conversations, prenatal care plan. I had nothing.
Like most young mothers have at least say maybe they didn't really found out to 6 weeks in. So that gives you 7.5 months to kind of get mentally ready. So you went from I'm a teenager just doing regular teenage stuff to now I'm a whole mama overnight.
Let me tell you how I found out. It's funny now, but it definitely was not funny then.
Sure.
Stayed home from school one day because my stomach was hurting,
Okay.
and it progressed throughout the day.
Mhm.
My dad took me to Cardinal Glennon,
Mhm.
and I remember the doctor and my dad sitting outside the room, and the
Mhm.
doctor said, "We can't help her here." My father said, "Well, why not?" And the
She's a
doctor
kid. This
said,
is a children's hospital. She's a child.
"Why
What do
can't
you
you
mean?
help her? Like, what she got?" And the doctor said, "She's in labor." And I don't know what happened after that because I played
Oh.
dead. I don't know.
So now I'm thinking about dad.
It
Like
was
so
rough for my parents. It was rough
so
for my
he
whole family.
goes from my child got a tummy ache to I'm a whole granddad
And she's a mother at 15.
in a matter
And what do we
of
do with this
minutes.
baby?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, clearly it's not the end of the road,
It
right?
wasn't.
And sometimes older people in our lives
Mhm.
will have the tendency to shame a young person
Mhm.
for something like that
Mhm.
as if it is the end of the world.
Absolutely.
But you made it through and look at you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it felt like the end of the world in the moment. I'm like, "Oh, take me now." 31 years later, my
Yeah.
daughter has been a complete blessing to my entire family, right? I couldn't
Yeah.
have seen my life without her being a part of
Mhm.
it.
Mhm. So before we get into the rest of your story, man, because we can spend the whole episode just
Just
on
on that.
this,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But talk to a mother, grandmother, and maybe even a teenage girl who
Mm.
may be in a similar situation. Matter of fact, let me have you because you got the experience, you got the receipts, right? Let me have you talk to the young lady first who may be feeling a little bit shame because this ain't what she intended to be as a
Absolutely.
teenage mother pregnant at a young age. What would you say to that young lady?
Absolutely. For you, I understand exactly how you feel. I was there,
Mhm.
and not only in that moment, but lived with that shame for a very long time,
Mhm.
trying to find out who I was as an individual, trying to prove my worth and myself to those around me who I love the most.
Mhm.
And that's a very hard place to be. So I say to you, stay encouraged. That situation does not define who you are as a person.
Mhm.
Find those tribal people who are going to help uplift you and move you through to the path that you desire. Stay prayed up, right?
Mhm.
And you can make it and you can be whatever you desire to be.
I love it. I love it. Now to that parent, mother, father, grandparent, caregiver who've got high expectations for this young person,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And this was not part of the plan,
mhm.
but it's here
It's
and
here.
you gotta deal with it. What were some of the things that your parents got right with you,
Mhm.
even though it was a sticky situation for all involved? And what were some things that maybe they could have done a little differently to help you better transition?
What my parents got right was teaching me how to be a good mother, right?
Okay.
Making sure that that expectation was high. This
Okay.
baby is here.
Mhm.
She is going to be your
Mhm.
priority. You
Mhm.
are going to finish high school. You
Mhm.
are going to work, right? So
Mhm.
those things have stuck with me to this day, right?
Okay.
My daughter has always been my priority because of the examples that they were for me.
Mhm.
What they could have done a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk me
Um,
through. I know we're not throwing mom and dad under the bus, but as I have become the man that I am today, I find a new reason to apologize to my 5 sons almost every day because
absolutely.
of some things and choices that, man, I thought that was the right way, but now I probably should have handled that differently. So,
Absolutely.
what does that look like in your situation?
I think for me in the moment, the disappointments that my parents had for me in my
Mhm.
situation was
Yeah.
enough, right?
Yeah.
But on
Yeah.
top of that disappointment, they wanted to make sure that I
Mhm.
understood um, the repercussions of my decisions, right? And with that, sometimes it made me feel unloved, uncared for, unworthy, right?
Gotcha.
The fact that I would not become who I wanted to be or could not be because I was in this situation.
Yeah.
And we worked through that, right?
Good.
And
Good.
I think they were in a place that all parents would be in that
Mhm.
situation. So
Yeah.
I don't doubt, blame them for that. What
Mhm.
I will say is understand who your children are at the core as a person
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
don't judge them because of a situation.
Yeah.
Love them for who they are, and if
Mhm.
they are people who want better and deserve better and are
Yeah.
working towards that, then support that any way that you can.
Yeah, because that's the situation where a lot of permanent decisions could have been made in a temporary moment,
Absolutely.
right? And the permanent decisions that were made sounds like you got those right because you
Absolutely.
got a beautiful 31-year-old today. So, man, I love that. So let's transition just a little bit. When you said you were a social worker, I was like, man, here's somebody who loves people,
Absolutely.
loves God. Uh, but now, second generation
Mhm.
social worker,
Mhm.
because not just dad, but if you're a nurse, you're also in social work too.
Absolutely.
So, what was it like growing up watching mom and dad serve the community in the way that they were? What did you take away from that?
One of the things my family is famous for is for
Mhm.
our Reed family fish fries, right?
Okay.
And these would be events that my family would throw once or twice a year.
Hmm.
And when I say once we pick the date, everybody who we pass on the street is invited to the family fish fry, right? Hundreds of people. And we
Okay.
don't sell a thing. We will buy 300 plus pounds of fish, cat, jack,
Mhm.
buffalo. We're going
Mhm.
to barbecue a
Mhm.
little bit for those that don't eat fish. We're going
Right.
to have spaghetti and coleslaw. And everybody is invited.
Mhm.
And these were things that we did regularly.
Okay.
And I remember as a young girl asking my dad, why we gotta be the ones to keep doing this, right? Because I'm doing the running and the tugging and
Yeah,
the pulling and the
'cause you gotta
asking.
work.
It's work. I'm sad. And he said to me, he said, Carla, if I'm ever not here, I want my village to know my children so that they can
Mm.
support them. And so that was my first lesson in community.
Mhm.
Community doesn't start outside, it starts at home. And so that's one thing that my father taught me that I still live with today.
Man, that is brilliant because one of the reasons I do media and I do all this talking head content is because I wholeheartedly believe in the law of reciprocity. I
Absolutely.
get to speak life and positivity into other people. And to your dad's point, one day I'm not going to be here.
That's right.
And some stranger is going to pour into my children
Absolutely.
because of the work that I'm doing today.
Absolutely.
So that's brilliant. But I never thought to go to that extent where you're making a financial and a time and an emotional investment in making sure because I'm celebrating and bringing people into my home, I get to introduce you to my children every single time we do this, and you
Absolutely.
know who's serving you. So, man, that's so brilliant. Well, kudos to pops. Kudos to pops, man. I'm gonna take that one. Um, and really run with that in a way that we've always wanted to be better, and I'm
Absolutely.
always looking for those little nuggets to help me be better and bridging community gaps. So high school's over with.
Mhm.
Your mom, whole mom, what was next for you? Was there college, no college, went straight into the workforce, or
So I
how did
went
she
to
matriculate?
college. I
Okay.
never stopped going to college. I went to school part-time,
Okay.
St. Louis Community College
So
initially.
wait a minute. So wait a minute. You mean you can be a teen mom and still go to
You
college and work a
better.
job?
Yeah, because we doing better every day, all day, right?
All right.
So I always worked a full-time job in social work. My
Okay.
first job was a case manager for the state of Missouri. So I'm the
Okay.
food stamp lady. Food
Okay.
stamp, Medicaid, childcare.
Wait a minute. I've heard stories about the people who don't qualify and the people who do qualify and what you got to take because they think it's your fault that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
But it was good for me. I'm a people person. I
Okay.
loved helping people. I benefited so much. I
Mhm.
grew so much just
Mhm.
connecting with my clients,
Yeah.
understanding their needs,
Mhm.
finding support and resources for them.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
found my first home trying to help somebody else.
What? Well, look at God.
Mhm.
All right. So college, always staying in school, and then as you're going through school, what is how is the dynamic with mom and daughter? Because mom is school working, daughter
Mhm.
got to now is going into school, and
Mhm.
like how is that? Y'all both at the table at the same time doing homework.
Funny story. So, dynamic was great. Again, I had a very strong support system,
Yeah.
which allowed me to do these things. I could
Hmm.
not have done them without my mother, my father, my sister, my brother supporting myself and my
And
daughter.
let me say this. So beyond frustration, disappointment, when all of that stuff die down, be the support system that you can in whatever way that you can, because clearly it makes a huge impact.
Top
So,
tier.
okay.
They were top tier
All
as
right,
far as the
good,
support system is concerned.
good.
So as I got further into my career, I
Hmm.
realized I don't necessarily need to finish school in social work. I'm already in social work.
Hmm.
You can only make so much money, and I was kind of at the top tier. It wasn't high, but I was at the top tier. And
Hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop school for a while,
Okay.
right?" But I want to add to that a little bit. One of the reasons I stopped going is because I was never good in math. And
Okay.
again, I was
Okay.
dealing with that. Are you good enough? Can you do it?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I had finished my bachelor's degree in social work for the most
Hmm.
part.
Hmm.
I had finished a psychology class or program alongside of that.
Okay.
And my last three classes were math. And guess what? I stopped
Ah,
going.
he was like,
Hell
"Hey, I'm
yeah.
not going there."
Yep.
Yeah.
And so what happened is my daughter ended up finishing high school,
Mhm,
going off to college to Florida A&M University.
mhm,
And I was so proud of her and I was watching her journey. And she started to get to the end. She was working on
mhm.
her MBA at the time.
Okay.
It was 2017, and I
Mhm,
said, "Carla, you gotta be who you say you are, right? You can't
mhm,
expect this from
mhm.
her and you don't go and finish yourself." And so I
Mm.
went back to Umsla. I said, "Now what I gotta do again?"
I gotta take
And
what
they
kind of
look at
math
me and they
class?
say, "These 3 math classes, you know what you gotta do." And so I ended up going back to school,
Okay.
and in 2018, I graduated with my degree, and
Mhm.
so did my daughter.
Wow.
Ain't that something?
That is a precious, precious moment, and I think walking the walk and as you talk the talk, walking the
Mhm.
walk is so, so important, because that's a moment that you can always look back on. And when things get rough for your daughter, or when she wants to transition or make changes, or not follow through on what she said she was gonna do, it took mom a minute, but
Got it
I got it
done.
done.
Got it done.
I got it done. Well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break because on the other side, I really want to get into what led you down the path of real estate development, real estate investing. How did you transition from social work into that field, and now you're thriving in it and at such a high level that I really want the people to know what it takes to get going in that space. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And taking us to this commercial break is one of my favorite STL artists of all time, not because he's my son, but because he's good. And I think he calls this one different this time. So I'm going to let you listen to the smooth sounds of Latif, different this time. Keep it locked right here. We'll be right back.
I need one question answered. Do you really love me enough to go again? I'll reset the dial. Let's get high. Lose sight of our useless past and realize we can do it different. We can do it different this time.
Picture this: a customer sees your post, likes what they see, and leaves a comment asking for more information, but you are busy serving customers, answering calls, and running the business. By the time you respond, they have already moved on. The problem was not a lack of attention. The problem was what happened after the attention showed up. That is where Social Lead Web comes in. We connect your content, comments, direct messages, lead capture, CRM, and follow up so interested customers have a clear next step. Instead of posting and hoping, you build a system designed to turn attention into conversations and leads. Go to ihustlemg.com or check the show notes for complete details. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of STL Hustle Insider. We're coming to you live and direct from the STL Virtual Resource Center studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you have not checked out the Virtual Resource Center, it is where all St. Louis area entrepreneurs can go to one place and get all of the resources that you need to help you move your business forward, from funding resources to cool networking events, co-working spaces. Everything that you need to grow and develop as an entrepreneur is in that place. So make sure you go check the link in the description to sign up. And they have 101 resources right now available for St. Louis area entrepreneurs. So make sure you check the link in the description and check that out. So Carla, we left off with your amazing journey from childhood to adulthood and becoming an amazing mom, dope social worker. And then something happened that got you not just involved in real estate, but sounds like a fire was lit under your butt in this space. And now you are as passionate and as on fire for real estate as anybody I've ever met. How'd that start?
Oh, it's been a long journey.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
It took me a while to realize, right? So, and I say it was a few things that happened that kind of grew into this, right?
Okay.
So initially, I'll say, young teen, my mother and father get divorced.
Okay.
My mother decides she wants to go and buy a piece of real estate for herself, right?
Okay.
And that's where we get our first investment property.
Gotcha.
I'm out of the loop because I'm just a teenager. I don't know what's going on at this point, right?
You just know mom and dad separated and they just gonna do something.
I got my own things to worry about, okay?
You got right. You
baby girl.
You trying to figure yourself out.
Figure myself out. So early 20s, my mother says, I want you to manage this property for me.
Okay.
I said, okay. And I go into this just helping my mother, not thinking anything more than just doing that.
Right.
And so I go into this space and I am the property manager and actually loving it, right? Building relationships with my tenants, moving people.
So what kind of property was it?
Four-family flat,
It was a
South St. Louis.
Okay. Four-family, gotcha.
So did that for several years and it finally clicked. The light bulb went off. I said, well, if I'm doing this for her, I could do this for some other people too, right?
Yep.
And I started connecting with out-of-state investors and doing property management locally for them.
Yeah.
Walk-in properties, finding tenants, doing all the maintenance and repairs that needed to be done, things of that nature.
Now, this is while you're still social worker, working full-time, and you sound like you're almost a full-time property manager at the same time.
I've always done two things. I don't know how to not do two things at least at once.
So full-time social worker, still loving on people in that space, but then also pursuing this other hustle because of a decision that mom made.
Yeah, just helping my mother. Nothing more at that time.
Okay.
Right? So then as I evolved and I started working for other investors, I decided I don't like that, right?
Okay.
Other investors didn't have the same heart for community that I had, or heart for people, or the desire to even provide quality housing.
Gotcha.
And so I decided not to necessarily do property management for out-of-state investors anymore.
Okay.
And I decided to start doing this work for myself.
Okay.
And I said, how can I be the investor? And that's what I started working on next.
Gotcha. So you mean to tell me that you can be in this real estate game and still have some integrity about yourself and
Absolutely. That's
still
stay in it.
Want to do right by people, because you hear the horror stories, the slumlord stories, and it's all about the money, but it can't be like, it can't be that everybody can't be on that same wavelength. So people like yourself are saying, you know what? I do want to provide a good quality house. I do want to charge enough money so that I can make a profit, but I also want to be fair and to other people. So when you started to go down the investment road yourself, what was the first step to, I guess the first step was you knew you wasn't going to do it for other people, but when you started to go down that road, what was some of the first few things that you did to get yourself ready for that?
I had a hard time figuring out how with my income I was going to get into the real estate space.
Okay.
I didn't know how people had 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 houses. Like, how do you do that on this type of income? And so I started researching and trying to figure out of all the real estate acquisition strategies, which one best suited my situation.
Yourself. Gotcha.
Yep. And so I found the tax sale,
Okay.
and that's been my baby ever since.
All right. And so if you're out there and you're wondering about how can you get involved in real estate, you mentioned acquisition strategies, right? How do you acquire properties? There's a million and one ways to
Absolutely.
acquire a property, and you found tax sales as your avenue. Now, somebody out there listening right now, Carla, when they just heard the word tax, got all bent out of shape. So, and got start hyperventilating and they're sweating because we've always been taught that it's a difficult process. We've all been taught that um, it's a trap, it's a scam. There's so many misnomers about buying tax properties. Can you help people understand that A, it's legit, and B, once you get the right connections, it is not something to be afraid of?
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to say is the government is not into selling you homes. What the government wants to do is to get their taxes that are owed, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
St. Louis City, St. Louis County, two totally different processes.
mhm,
And in St. Louis County, if you are behind 3 years or more on your taxes,
mhm.
the property goes for sale for past due taxes.
Okay, gotcha. And then what about the city? Is it the same 3
Well,
years
that's the
or
city. The
uh,
county is the same. 3 years,
same?
it goes for. Now, the process to acquire them is a little
It's
different.
different. Okay,
The city has what's called a tax deed sale, meaning
okay,
when you purchase the property, you're actually buying the property.
okay.
St. Louis County has a tax lien sale, meaning when you purchase it, you're purchasing the lien, not the
Gotcha,
property. So the
gotcha,
process is a little longer in the
gotcha.
county versus the city.
So you're buying essentially, you're paying off a debt for somebody else who still owns the property
Absolutely.
for a certain amount of time because they
Absolutely.
got a redemption or something. They can
Hmm.
come back and say, "Oh, well, Carla, you paid that. Thank you. I was going through something. I'm back on my feet. Let me run you that money back plus a little interest, and I
Absolutely.
get to keep my home."
Absolutely.
Okay.
And as an investor, it took me some time to say, why would I want to do the county sale if I
Mhm,
don't necessarily own it when I purchase it?
mhm,
But when you're an investor and you have an investment portfolio, you
mhm.
invest in all types of things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whether I actually acquire that property or not,
Mhm,
there is no other place that you can put your money for a year and get
mhm.
up to 30% return.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's an
yeah.
investment strategy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you went through that process. Before we go into you actually acquiring your first property through that acquisition strategy, can we talk a little mindset?
Ooh.
A little bit about like I don't want like I've always been interested in real estate, and when me and my friends were younger, we bought an LRA home,
Okay.
and I just remember the mindset was not there because it was 8 of us
Hmm.
together, and this is like, we said, "We're gonna do this, and we're gonna become these big real estate moguls and all of that stuff." But if you don't have the right mindset, especially I mean, if you don't have the mindset as an individual, that's one thing, but then if the group of people don't have the same mindset and are on the same page, it's almost impossible to do something magical. So what did you do to wrap your mind around, "Okay, this is the game that I'm gonna play,
Hmm.
and I know is going to take some energy and effort from me." So what were some of the things? Did you have some books that you read? Did you go to some events? What were some of the things that you did to get your mindset right?
Oh, so it is a total mindset shift. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Mhm,
Even for me wanting to be in the space and learning, I still
mhm,
had to transition my mind.
mhm.
One, that I could do it,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Because sometimes we think this is really hard to do.
yeah,
Um, and the second thing is just understanding being an investor and understanding that there is some risk in that.
okay,
Okay. So I remember as I was learning that tax sale process, it
mhm,
took me about 3 years because
okay,
I didn't know anybody else who had done it.
gotcha.
And so I had to go to the tax sale to learn the process.
Mhm.
There's nothing online that teaches you, right? And so I had to go
Right?
ask
You
questions. I
just
had
gotta
to
show
make
up and
friends. I
figure
had
out.
to do all these things, right? And so it took about 3 years and build confidence in myself
Mhm,
and get that mindset that I needed in
yep,
order to actually execute.
gotcha,
I remember in the process as I was thinking about this, I'm a very spiritual person.
okay.
And the Lord said to me, He said, "You have everything you need." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"What? Where? How?" And I want to say it took me even months after that, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things I'm most thankful for is even though I didn't know that this was my journey, I feel like my parents had a major hand in leading me down to this journey, even
Yeah.
though I don't think they even knew what
They
they
didn't
were
know.
doing,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
My mother setting me on the path to understand property management and how to work with people in that space and
Yep.
regulations and systems and things like that. When the Lord kept telling me I had everything I needed, I'll say this, my father died in 2013.
Okay. Sorry
He
to hear
left
that.
me a decent lump sum of money, right?
Okay.
But I'm a social worker because I need to live off of this, right? I'm pension, paying bills, doing all these things that I felt like I needed to do. When I got to the last little bit of that money, I forgot about it. And I said I needed to hold on to this. Didn't
Yeah.
know why,
Right.
right?
Right.
So as the Lord was saying, you have everything you need, he was talking about that little lump sum that my father had left me that I held on to.
The
And
financial
that's what I used to
resources.
buy my first
Man,
investment
I
property.
love it. So you mean to tell me that when opportunity shows up, is not necessarily an opportunity if you can't take advantage of it.
Gotta take it. You gotta be able to connect the dots.
So to be in position, so you had that as a strategy, and I know you work with a lot of other people to get tax properties and learn that process. I want you to talk to the people who maybe don't have a lump sum from an inheritance or something like that, but there are ways that you can still, because from what I understand, the properties themselves, they're not terribly
They're
expensive,
not.
right?
They're not.
So talk to other people about some maybe strategies or ways that they can get financially in position so that if they happen to run across a brick by brick, which we'll talk about in a minute, and you happen to um, take them on a field trip to a tax sale,
Uh-huh.
they might have a few coins in their pocket and might be able to get a little something.
Absolutely. So if you take a look at the tax sale list, the properties are not expensive.
Okay.
I want to say the first property I purchased was on the road for $3,300.
Gotcha.
$3,300,
3,300.
right? The total price point ended up being $19,000
Okay.
only because there was a bidding process, right? Because it
Gotcha.
was a good property. We were kind of
Other
going
people
back and
want
forth
it.
about it.
Okay.
So we got up to that $19,000. Mind you, I only had $20,000 in total to spend.
Okay. So what the Lord was telling you is you got enough, and when all the dust settles, you gonna get this property if you just take action based on what. Okay.
Price points are very minimal. The
Okay.
2 properties I purchased next, $5,000 a piece.
Okay.
So anybody can do this with the desire and the opportunity to put a couple dollars to the side.
That's it. That's it. So get your mind right, people. And then while you're getting your mind right, start getting your money right. Cause that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, how much do I need to be just putting to the side? And so when the opportunity presents itself, I have something to bring to the table where I can do it all myself, or maybe I can partner with somebody and say, hey, man,
Absolutely.
I got these few coins. You got your few coins. Let's go and do something, right?
Absolutely.
So those properties, what happened with those properties in terms of how did they go from, hey, this is an acquisition, now it's an asset?
Absolutely. So I believe in using my own money to purchase on a tax sale, but I don't believe in using my own money to renovate.
Okay.
Right?
Talk about it.
So I
Talk
get my
about
little
it.
coins together and that's all I'm doing, right?
Okay.
So with my first property on the road for $3,300, sold for $19,000, $19,000 free and clear.
So you own it free and clear.
Free and
You don't
clear.
owe nobody. And I'm guessing that the city or the county, they're gonna quiet the title. So to make sure everything is good with the title.
So you're responsible for quieting the title.
Also,
I
you
have
are
an
still
amazing attorney that I work
okay.
with who
So
does
you
all of
still
that
have to
work
do
for
that.
me.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. Okay.
So I get that work done, and I get this property. It's in North Point neighborhood, which is an established neighborhood,
Okay.
full brick, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
Okay.
I get into the property because you can only see the inside after you purchase. I got into the
So
property.
wait. You can only see the inside after you purchase.
After you purchase.
So when we said get your mind right, what was one of the first things she said? There's some risk involved,
There is.
right? So that to some people, that might not be your level of risk to say, "Hey, I'm gonna risk paying 19,000 for this thing, but I don't know what's going on the inside."
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm. What I knew for sure is that it was already a valuable asset, and it was worth more than 19,000 the way it was standing, right?
gotcha. Okay.
So, what we do is we assess the outside of the property.
Mhm,
What does the roof look like? What does
mhm,
the foundation look like? Is
mhm.
there any indication in the yard that there are some sewer issues? So we
Right.
look at all that first before we bid.
Yeah.
So hopefully we minimize our risk by
Sure.
doing that.
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Got into the property. Only thing it needed was a new bathroom and an updated kitchen. That's it. That's all.
What?
So I went
Man.
to my friends over at Justine Peterson. I
Mhm.
utilized them for funding all the time.
Okay.
Got about a $35,000 loan to do the renovation.
Mhm.
It took about 45 days
Mhm.
because I was pretty new at this
Right.
and ended up refinancing that property. Guess how much it was worth?
How much?
Mm, $97,500.
Wow. Wow. So wait a minute. You in it for 19,
Mm-hmm.
but you own it free and clear.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of money to the attorney to quiet the title, get
Mm-hmm.
that stuff squared away.
Mm-hmm.
And then 35,000 is what you borrowed to new bathroom, update the kitchen, but now it appraised at almost 100,000.
Yeah.
Man,
You want to know what happened next?
what happened next?
I
Yes.
took that equity out of the house. That's what I did. So I was able to take the equity out of the house. They
Mhm.
let me garner about 72.5.
Okay.
I took the 72.5, paid my friends at Justine Peterson back the
Mhm.
35 that
Mm.
they loaned me.
Yep.
And then I was able to go buy 2 more.
Got 2 more. Guys, that right there is the beginning stages of legacy building,
That's it.
right? Because you bet on yourself,
Mhm.
got your mind right, took some money that you had, and you said, "Hey, I'm gonna trust in you, Lord." You said, "I got everything I need to
Yep,
do this
he
thing
said
that
it.
I feel like I'm being called to do, so I'm gonna make a move,"
Mhm.
and everything worked out, but you didn't fumble the bag. Paid those people their money back, so now you got a better relationship with them.
Absolutely.
They trust you to give you more money next time.
Uh-huh.
You know the process of how to go and acquire other properties. Now you got a little money in the kitty, put your 19,000 back plus some to be able to keep
Absolutely.
playing this game. Real life monopoly, people.
It
That's
is.
all I'm saying.
I
That's all I'm
didn't play
saying.
Monopoly until I got into real estate because I didn't understand what the people was doing
You
when
didn't
I
know
was
what the
young.
purpose
I'm
was?
like, this is too long. What are you doing? What am I counting? But now I beg people to play
Now you
Monopoly with
playing
me. It is
Monopoly in
a literally
real
a real
life.
estate strategy game for me.
Yeah. All right. So did it a few times for yourself,
Mhm.
and then the social worker in you kicks in
So I'm gonna tell you, the social worker kicked in immediately after I purchased my first
after
property.
your first the
So
people.
excited. Oh, I was so excited, right? Help people in more than one way, right?
Okay.
Because after my excitement died down, the first thing I said is, hmm, what happens to the family that just lost this house? And I paid $16,000 over. What happens to that
Mhm.
money,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so I did a little research when it comes to tax sale overages. And that's when the
Okay.
first opportunity came for me to help those people who are affected by the tax sale
Ah,
process.
wait a minute. I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth, Carla. I don't know if I had been so much thinking about them people.
I
You were thinking about not only what happened as they lost their house, but you realize that, hey, they only owe
they
3,300.
only owe
We
3,300.
paid 19. Do they get any of that? Is what's going on in your mind.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So what did that lead to?
That leads to me getting to work.
Okay.
Whenever I have a thing that I have an issue with, I
Mhm.
don't complain about it. I figure out how to fix it.
Gotcha.
And so I
Gotcha.
partner with a few folks. Partner with
Mhm.
Invest STL. I
Mhm.
partner with UMSL Neighborhood Leadership Fellows.
Mhm.
And we're looking at policy around tax sale overages.
Gotcha.
What needs to be put in place so that people understand that anything that is paid over the tax sale
Mhm.
purchase amount is due to the heir of that family. And how do
Gotcha.
they access it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's super dope. Super dope. Well, we got to take another quick commercial break, y'all. Normally, we'd be wrapping things up right about now, but we ain't even get into some of the other stuff that she got going on. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come back with more. And I want you to get into brick by brick and how you helping everyday folk really understand this game and not only just the investment and the development side, but the multitude of ways that one can get involved in real estate and build a legacy for their family. Y'all don't go nowhere. Keep it locked right here. We'll be right back.
There is a difference between owning protection and being prepared. Preparation starts with education. At Relentless Defensive Firearm Academy, responsible citizens learn the principles that matter most: safety, law, responsibility, and confidence. From firearm safety education to Missouri CCW classes, Relentless helps you train the right way with professional, judgment-free instruction. Whether you are brand new or ready to sharpen your skills, you do not have to figure it out alone. Protecting yourself and protecting your family should never be based on guesswork. Visit relentlessstl.com or call 314-314-8485 to learn more. Relentless Defensive Firearm Academy. Protect yourself, protect your family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. I'm sitting here with Carla Reid. I'm Cortez Hustle, coming to you live and direct from the STL Virtual Resource Center studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Check out the link in the description because there's some cool resources. If you're a St. Louis area entrepreneur and you've been trying to figure out where all the resources are and they scattered all over the place, what they've decided to do is aggregate them all and put them in one place for you. A nice little spreadsheet. Click the links, you can go where you need to go. And there's a community built around it as well. So make sure y'all check the link in the description for that. Get the resources you need to become a better entrepreneur. So, Carla, you went through this process, started doing your own thing. And because you come from a great family and you'd already been in community building and social work, the first thing comes to your mind is other people need to know about this whole process because not only can I continue to run the bag up, but we all can run the bag up at the same time. Now, St. Louis is known to be a crabs in the barrel type city, but I don't get crabs in the barrel vibe when I think about Carla Reid.
No. Here's the thing. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's what I feel. I said, well, everybody need to know about this. And so we started teaching individuals the process of St. Louis City tax sale, right? Because we wanted people to think about generational wealth for their families and making an impact on the community in which you live. If you go outside of your doors and you unhappy with what you see,
do something. Listen, that is my Kimberly Elise moment in John Q. She told him, do something.
That's it.
So stop crying about what you see and do something. And you decided to do something. And that became the foundation of what's now known Brick by Brick. Tell us about
Collective. So what I knew is that I was knee deep in some stuff. I didn't know what I was doing, right? And I started going to all these investment meetup groups, right? Most of them in South St. Louis. Very good information. But those people didn't look like me, nor were they wanting to invest in the areas in which were most near and dear to me, which was North City. And so I needed to find my tribe. And so when you can't, you build it, right?
You build it, they will come.
That's right, because we're builders at the end of the day. And so I started the Brick by Brick Collective, reached out to my partners at Invest STL and say, hey, can we meet here? And they said, absolutely.
Gotcha.
And so we meet there the second Thursday of every month from 6 to 8. We're talking about all things real estate, not just tax sale, right? We're talking about owner finance. We're talking about purchasing properties off of the MLS system. We're talking about buying properties off market, just various ways that individuals can get in the game based off of their current situation.
Gotcha. I love that. So I got a chance to attend one of the meetings and got to meet your partners down in the South Side. What is it? It's not Bevo Mills. What is it? Dutchtown. Dutchtown. So that was pretty cool. And I actually submitted a RFP for them because I did. It's like I ain't got nothing to lose. It's just I got to start somewhere and learn the process somewhere. And it's like, well, you don't qualify yet because you ain't done nothing, but keep sending them in. Eventually, we'll find something for you. So I'm like, well, good. And I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for your collective.
I'm glad you did.
So, as people are getting together in and around this space, I want you to talk a little bit about the other ways, though, because I think sometimes we think about buying, fix and flip. Some of us are now starting to think and build from the ground up, but there's so much that this industry needs help with.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we have, for instance, media and marketing is a love and a passion of mine. But I would have never thought that real estate developers need media and marketing, but they do. And sometimes
Absolutely.
we're not thinking about, hey, I already have a skill set that I can bring to this industry and make my way that way. So you talked about capacity when we were having our last conversation. Can you help people understand some of those other roles in helping developers, contractors, and the
Absolutely.
people who got boots on the ground, some of those supplemental and supportive roles in businesses that could be still in real estate without having to wear a hard hat or swing a hammer?
Absolutely. So, brick by brick is about strengthening the ecosystem of
Mhm.
development, right?
Yep.
So that's inclusive of people who fix and flip,
Mhm.
people who build,
Mhm.
contractors,
Mhm.
financial partners, all
Mhm.
of that.
Yeah.
And so we bring all of that to the fold together. So we are
Yeah.
looking to, as developers, working with municipalities to get opportunities to get land to develop.
Mhm.
We're also working with contractors to help build capacity, right? Because we
Right.
cannot do it
That's
alone.
right.
So
That's
we
right.
know need those individuals who swing the hammers and to oversee our projects to do that well.
Mhm.
So we have not only brick by brick, we also have the developer circle, which where we're
Mhm.
building capacity for those who want to build, right?
Gotcha.
Whether it's stick build or modular, we're helping people find their way in that space.
Mhm.
We also have a contractor circle. We have our first event next month. We're having a contractor meetup so
Okay.
we can figure out who are you? Who are you?
Who's in the
What is it
game?
you
Who what
need?
skills you
How
got?
can
And
we support you?
yeah.
And even with that, we're offering some free training to those individuals who come to that event.
Okay.
So we're looking to figure out how we can support the ecosystem as a
Yeah.
whole and
Yeah.
move forward as a true collective.
I love it. That is so powerful because when all of these pieces fit together, then it becomes easier for us to move. Because one of the things I'm sick and tired of, Carla, is not the fact that other people will come and gentrify our neighborhoods,
Mhm.
but the nerve of us to live in the squalor of these neighborhoods for 10, 20, 30, 40 years and do nothing about what we see, but have the nerve to get upset with somebody else who sees and recognizes that value
Mhm.
and wants to come in and build it, right?
Absolutely.
So I did a little Google search on the word gentrification and found out it only means to make beautiful. What are we waiting on to make our own situation beautiful?
We can do it.
And we
And
can do
St.
it.
Louis is one of those markets where property
Mhm.
values are still really low
They
compared to other
are.
parts of the
They
country.
are.
So this is the place. If you are here,
Mhm.
this is the
Mhm.
place to get in. And I understand it's a scary
Mm.
thing to enter to alone,
Yeah.
but you don't have to do it. So one of the
Yeah.
things that the collective is really working on is what does collective development looks like?
Mhm.
What does it look
Mhm.
like for us to go into community together,
Yeah.
right? Identify opportunities, share resources, share
Mhm.
contractors, buy supplies together,
Mhm.
kind of mentor each other through this opportunity
Yeah.
so we're not doing it alone.
Yeah. I think that is the most powerful piece. And I was so glad to my wife. I said, man, I found the people who are doing what we want to do. So, because I have been a Lone Ranger almost all of my life.
Mm.
And not because I don't want to work with people, but because I have a low tolerance for inactivity.
Oh yeah, me too.
And people will talk, 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 and never get off they can. So I just try to figure out how to do things on my own. So I'm super excited to know you and get to witness the work that you're doing up front. We've got a couple segments that I've got to run through, and then we're going to get out of here. She's actually going to show me a couple of the lots that she owns. So maybe I'll give you guys a sneak peek of that. But the first thing we got to do is everybody who comes on the show has to give me their top 5 all STL whatever. It could be top 5 STL foods, it could be places to hang out, it could be people to know, it could be events, but if I'm not from around here, which I was actually born in Tupelo, Mississippi, where Elvis was born, right? But I tell everybody we was probably born in the same hospital, but then again, he was probably born at home. He was a lot older than me. They was birthing kids at the house,
Mm.
when he was born. Uh, but if I'm not from around here, what are 5 things I probably need to check out if I'm a stranger?
Uh, that's a hard
It
question. I
is, it
spend a
is,
lot of time in the
but
middle of my
but
bed. So let
but
me see.
but give me 5 STL staples.
5 STL states.
And it doesn't have to be all food. It could be a mix of things,
Let's
right?
see. So, I love emos. I know people say that they don't like it as well.
It's a mixed thing with emos. Even with diehard St. Louis's, you'd be like, man, emos ain't the best.
I really love emo.
All right, so emos number 1.
So 4th of July, I got a chance to go downtown and revisit the Arch.
Okay.
And they've done some beautiful work down at the Arch ground. So that is definitely a place that you have to go down.
And you know
see.
what? People sleep on. Now I ain't gonna open this bag, but they sleep on the museum under the Arch.
They do.
They really
And
sleep on that. Now, I'm gonna say this, but we ain't got to talk about it. It's all lies. But I don't like. I believe a lot of this stuff was here when the people who came here and claimed it said that they built it. Is all I'm gonna say about that. So we got number 2. We got emos. We got the Arch.
The Arch. What else do I have to do in St. Louis?
5 things.
What else points out?
So I mean, it could be anything. It could be brick by brick. It could be a certain person. It could be any 5 things. What neighborhoods, or area, or town?
Okay. So if you want to get out and about in St. Louis, right?
It could be anything.
Depending on if you're a nightlife kind of person.
Okay. So if you're nightlife,
I love a night at Soulard. Just hang out
in
in
Soulard. What is it, like 500 bars in a 2-block square radius or something like that?
150 restaurants, right? Ray's is one of my favorites over there to hang out at. Soulard is one of those neighborhoods that I enjoy. The West End.
The West End.
That is one of the neighborhoods in which the community has really taken hold of that neighborhood and made it a great place to live, work, and play.
Yep.
They have concerts in the park and all types of things going on. So the West End is a neighborhood that I enjoy.
Emos, the Arch, Soulard, West End, number 5.
Number 5.
What we got?
I don't know, Cortez.
So who got the
brick by brick?
Who got the best wings in St. Louis then?
I can't tell you. And I'm a wing girl. I miss London and Sons. Okay?
Man,
I was just talking about London and Sons 3 days ago. Like, I miss y'all reality.
So I grew up on Enright when my family first moved here. Enright and Hamilton. So
you was right around
Delmore,
the corner from me.
the first
I was on Clemens and Enright. You was on the next block from me.
Listen.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, we like my grandmother's house is still 5953 Enright.
We 5943. My grandmother, grandfather owned it. My mother grew up in it. My sister still lives there today.
What you say, man? Right back to back. That's what's up. You might know the Sheltons. We were good friends with the Sheltons. Debo and Joel and Joey and
at the end of my block. Still tight with the family.
Okay.
Yes,
okay. Well, yeah, we hung out with them. I went to Sonan my freshman and sophomore year.
Oh, did you?
Awesome. And that was the year they closed. And then I grew up in Wilson, so I was already living in Wilson, just busing over to Sonan. So when they closed, the plan was to bus everybody to Roosevelt. And I was like, man, I'm not catching no extra 2 buses to get to Roosevelt. So I went to Wilson. And all my friends were in Wilson, but all of my family had graduated from Sonan. Like my 4 older siblings, my aunts and uncles, because they lived on Enright. That was the school. So I went that way because of that, but I really wanted to be in Wilson because I grew up there and that's where all my friends were. But all right, so you got your top 5. You got Brick by Brick at number 5. You got Central West End at number 4. You got Soulard at number 3. Number 2 was the Arch, and number 1 was Emo's Piece.
Not Central West End, West End.
The West End.
Those are 2 different places.
The West End. Okay.
The West End is our neighborhood. Central West End is on the other side.
That's on the other side of Delmore. If y'all know anything about that divide, it's a big thing, right? All right. So the West End. All right. So that is Carla Reid's top 5 all STL. We got one more segment, and then I'm gonna let you go. And this one we call freestyle. It's where I drop a beat. I'm a beatbox, and you gon'
I don't rap nothing.
What you mean? Like we from St. Louis. Everybody can bust a flow. All right. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm so glad you're kidding.
So freestyle is, as I'm learning this game of journalism, I don't always ask the right questions. And there may have been some things that you wanted to say that I didn't ask you, or you wanted the conversation to go in a particular way and we didn't get to it. So freestyle is where you get 60 seconds to tell the people anything you want them to know about Carla Brick by Brick, your company, which we didn't talk about, your company, anything you want them to know in 60 seconds so that you don't leave here not telling the people everything that's on your heart, and then tell them how to connect with you at the end. Got
Absolutely.
it? All right, so let me set you up. Let me pass you the mic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is freestyle right here on STL Hustle Insider, the Carla Reid edition. Give them what you got.
I can't leave without telling you all a little bit more about Brick by Brick and kind of our purpose in that work.
Mhm.
Brick by Brick is one of those places that anybody and everybody is welcome to come and explore
Mhm.
to understand real estate development and how it works here within the region, right? So if you have interest or desire to learn more, please come to Brick by Brick. Let us support you in your goals of building wealth for yourself as well as stabilizing your community.
I love it. How can they connect with you and Brick by Brick?
So my major platform is on Facebook. You would just search Brick by Brick Collective. We also have a school platform, and it's SKOOL, and we can be found there at the Brick by Brick Collective STL.
I love it. Drop the mic. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
that's going to do it for us here. I'm Cortez Hustle. She's Carla Reid. Until next time. Man, what a conversation with the great Carla Reid. But before we get out of here, I've got to give you the answer to today's Inside STL Black History question. Earlier, we asked, what is the name of the historic North St. Louis County community, often recognized as Missouri's first all-Black incorporated city? The answer is none other than Kinloch. Kinloch, Missouri holds a powerful place in local history. It is often recognized as Missouri's first all-Black incorporated city and one of the oldest Black municipalities west of the Mississippi. But Kinloch matters for more than a title. It represents Black ownership, community building, resilience, and identity. It was a place where families created home, where churches and schools helped hold the community together, and where people with national impact had roots. Names like Dick Gregory, Jennifer Lewis, and Maxine Waters remind us that powerful people can come from places the world too often overlooks. So when we talk about development, we can not only talk about property, we have to talk about people, memory, and what it means to build community that lasts. That's your Inside STL Black History Moment for today, brought to you by the STL Virtual Resource Center. If you're a St. Louis area entrepreneur, make sure you check the link in the descriptions and the show notes so that you can get their 101 resources every local entrepreneur needs to take their business to the next level. Until next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it, but more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.